What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I'm Gold Pony. Today we are in the new 2019 Dodge Durango, courtesy of Citadel Dodge Jeep Ram in York, PA. And I've reviewed this one a couple years in the past. Actually was thinking about buying one at one point because it has a super smooth ride. I can tell you that right off the bat. But before I get ahead of myself, as always, let's start with pricing. And so, as you can probably imagine, there will be several different trim levels for the 2019 Durango. First one being the SXT, which is the one we are in today, starting at $30,195. SXT Plus for $34,190. GT is going to start at $34,645. GT Plus for $38,995. Citadel starts at $42,995. RT for $43,995. Citadel Anodized Platinum for $46,270, and the SRT for $62,995. So quite a bit of trim levels available for the Durango. And by the way, all that pricing, that was for the rear wheel drive setup. So if you wanted to go the all-wheel drive route, simply add $2,600 to any of those prices with the exception of the SRT. That one's going to come standard with all-wheel drive. So as you can imagine, with all those trim levels though, there are a couple different engine setup choices as well. First one being the one that we have today. That is going to be a 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6. And this engine setup is actually going to be standard across the board with the exception of the RT and SRT. But this one puts out 293 horsepower to 295 depending on the trim level, 260 pound-feet of torque. And that power is either sent to the rear wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed automatic transmission, giving you a 0 to 60 time of approximately 7.4 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 19 in the city, 26 on the highway for the rear-wheel drive at least, 18 city, 25 highway for the all-wheel drive. But so then if you wanted a bit more power, look at the RT trim level. That one's going to be powered by a 5.7 liter Hemi V8, 360 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 time approximately 6.2 seconds, again with the 8-speed automatic, with MPG numbers 14 city, 22 on the highway. And the very last engine setup belonging to the SRT trim level being a 6.4 liter Hemi V8, 475 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque, sent to all four wheels through an 8-speed automatic, 0 to 60 4.4 seconds in a 3-row SUV. That's pretty sweet, with MPG numbers coming in at 13 city, 19 on the highway. And so before we do any kind of accelerations here, I did want to mention just below the climate control settings here, there is a sport mode button. Essentially what that will do is adjust the throttle response and the shift points, and there are actually some steering sensitivity modes where you can put it in sport mode for that as well if you wanted a little heavier weight to the steering wheel. So having said all of that, paddle shifters are available in trims like the RT. We don't have them today. So now that I've covered all the specs, let's put the acceleration to the test here and let's see how quickly we can get up to speed in this 2019 Dodge Durango. Bad. This is a 3-row SUV, so it's definitely a heavier vehicle, of course, but not bad acceleration. Definitely no issues with merging onto the highway, but I've driven the RT before, and I think that has spoiled me a bit, so that's going to be there for you if you wanted a little more power. But so to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important, and so standard for the Durango, you will find 4-wheel disc brakes, and actually heavy-duty brakes if you go with the Citadel and the RT trim levels if you were interested. And then beefing up the brakes even more if you went with the SRT, of course, being the highest horsepower Durango, you're going to actually get 6 piston front calipers along with upsized rotors as well. So as far as the braking feel goes today, I've had absolutely no issues. There's no brake pedal delay or anything like that to worry about. So braking feel is definitely quite nice. Then touching on handling and suspension a little bit, the ride quality, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, definitely very nice. One of the better ride qualities, I guess you could say, as far as 3-row SUVs go that I've experienced at least. And actually, in addition to that, if you went with the SRT, you're going to get an adaptive damping suspension. It's going to tighten up the suspension around heavy cornering, so a little better handling there, but at the same time, it's also going to read the road's imperfections and provide you with a more smoother ride as well. And there's a sport suspension to go with the RT trim level, I think I should mention as well. But As far as the steering feel goes, definitely a nice weight to it, not even with it in sport mode. Again, you can adjust that. And cabin noise has definitely been quite nice. Not a whole lot of wind noise coming into the cabin today, and it is quite windy here in Pennsylvania today, so definitely no issues there. And part of that may be due in part actually because the Durango does come with an acoustic windshield, so that's going to help prevent outside noises from coming into the cabin, so that's definitely pretty nice as well. But touching on visibility, this is a 3-row SUV, so you're always going to have a little bit of blind spots in the back there, but honestly for a 3-row, definitely not all that bad for visibility. I can see perfectly fine. Another thing I like, not all 3-row SUVs have this, but that third row, if it's up, the headrests tuck into the third row, so you don't have any blind spots with those either. So definitely another thing worth mentioning, and something I always look for, having reviewed quite a few 3-row SUVs at this point. But enough with the driving dynamics, you guys. Let's check out the exterior of this new 2019 Dodge Durango. And so when it comes to the exterior, let me first start with the new colors for the 2019 Durango, being F8 green, reactor blue, and destroyer gray. But up front, you will find a new performance front fascia if you go with the GT trim level, at least. Another change for the 2019 Durango. But to the sides, halogen headlights will come standard along with fog lights just below. LED daytime running lights will come with the GT trim level and up, and you will get clear housings for the headlights if you go with the SXT trims or the Citadel. If you wanted black housings, simply go with the GT trim level, RT, or SRT. And HID headlights, by the way, will come with the Citadel trim level and up. Then making your way to the side, rear privacy glass will come standard on all trim levels, along with body-colored power adjustable side mirrors, and they will come heated as well, and you will get chrome mirror caps if you go with the Citadel trim level. Then take a look down at the wheel setup. SXT trim levels that you're looking at right now will give you 18 by 8 inch aluminum alloy wheels, but if you go with the GT trim level and up, you will get 20 by 8 inch aluminum alloy wheels. Then make your way to the back, you will find a rear spoiler with an integrated brake light, just below that a rear window wiper, and LED taillights are going to come standard across the board as well. A nice little racetrack design still back there, so that's always good. And just below all of it, dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips, so you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. But so now, since we are around back as far as how to open that hatch, for some trim levels there will be a button on the key fob. For the SXT there will not, which is why you don't see one, but simply lift up under there. That is going to be how we are going to open this rear hatch today. And once opened up, behind that third row you will find 17.2 cubic feet. If you fold that third row down, that bumps it up to 47.7 cubic feet, and with all rows folded down you will find 85.1 cubic feet of storage back there. And if you wanted some hidden storage, there is underfloor storage for the Durango as well. But making our way to the rear legroom now, third row legroom is going to come in at 33.5 inches. So for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. Actually not bad for third row legroom as well, by the way. Second row legroom comes in at 38.6 inches. Again, 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. Rear air vents are going to come standard across the board all the way through all 3 rows. That's always nice to keep everyone comfortable. And you will find heated second row seats if you go with the GT Plus trim level and up. Then make your way to the front seats. Cloth seating will come standard. You will find leather seating if you go with the Citadel trim level and up, and you will get some suede accents if you go with the RT. And again, with the GT Plus and up, you will find heated front seats, and the Citadel anodized platinum will give you ventilated. Then take a look forward. There is a tilt and telescoping steering wheel, and it will come leather wrapped for all trim levels and heated if you go with the GT Plus trim level and up. But so now, as far as the startup goes, let me first start by showing you guys the key here. You do have your Dodge logo on the one side, and when you flip it over, lock, unlock, and again, you can actually have buttons for the rear hatch or a remote start as well if you wanted to. But all I am going to simply do is just put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button, which is standard across the board, but that is how I am going to start this one up. But so then, once started up, tachometer is going to be on your left, fuel gauge is on your right, speedometer is front and center, and by the way, that is a digital gauge setup, so what is on there can all be controlled by using the steering wheel mounted controls on the left side. But of course, it's going to give you things like your trip A, trip B, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. Also, it's going to give you some maintenance reminders when the time comes for an oil change, things like that. And you can also opt for just a full digital setup as well up there if you wanted to. But now let's make our way to the overall interior quality. Ambient lighting is actually going to come standard on every single trim level. That's pretty sweet. Illuminated cup holders, again, every trim level will get that. 3-zone climate control, definitely nice as well. Power moonroof is going to come with the Citadel trim level and up, and it's going to be optional on some of the other trims, but always like to mention that. But now let's make our way to the tech display on this one. 7-inch color touchscreen display will come with the SXT trim levels and the GT trim levels, so that is actually what you're looking at right now. But if you went with the Citadel and up, you will get an 8.4-inch color touchscreen display. Either way, you will get Bluetooth and audio streaming as well as Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, regardless of the trim level that you go with. That's always nice. And you can check out your climate control settings up there as well, and the driving and steering modes if you wanted to. Factory navigation is going to come with the Citadel trim level and up. And you can check out your radio settings, of course. And by the way, when it comes to the sound system, SXT trims and GT trims will give you a standard 6-speaker sound system. If you went with the Citadel and up, you will get a 9-speaker Alpine sound system with a subwoofer, by the way. And there is an additional optional sound system available for $1,000. That is going to be the 19-speaker Harman Kardon surround sound system with the subwoofer once again. So since we do have the 6-speaker sound system today, what I am going to do is put on Sirius XM here, and let's test out the clarity of this one. 6 speakers, that is crazy amounts of bass. I bet you my camera was probably bouncing a little bit. That is a decent sound system for 6 speakers. I'm really impressed. But so then last thing on the tech display I wanted to mention is when you do put the Durango in reverse, you will find a rear view camera for every single trim level, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead me into safety. And so to start, there are front, side, and side curtain airbags, also a driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Also, a tire pressure monitoring system will come standard. If you wanted blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert, simply add $395. And there's also a package called the Technology Group I wanted to mention. That goes for $2,400, but that's going to give you adaptive cruise control, advanced brake assist, full speed forward collision warning plus, which essentially warns you if you're about to hit somebody and then it brakes for you if you're not quite quick enough. And then lastly with that package is lane departure warning. And so, but anyways, that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen there, and I will see you guys in the next video. There you go.